Hey guys, it's me Lunar, welcome back to another PlayerUnknown's video. Tomorrow we will hopefully see the next update, the weekly number 7 update. In the meantime, I'm continuing my coverage of the game. Last week I uploaded a strategy for beginners, how to play aggressive. It had good feedback, a lot of people still don't really know what the best way is to play the game, and all the different tactics that you can use. So today's strategy is the distance player, a strategy where rather than jump into the middle of a busy area, you choose somewhere not populated by other players. The strategy involves dropping from the plane and getting to a high risk area as far away as possible. But first, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, it really does help me out. So this is a start game tactics video. It's all about the start game, parachuting, drop location, looting, and making your way to the end game. Now this tactic is potentially a high risk reward for the most part. Unless someone else is using the same tactic, you'll be free to loot unchallenged. But you will also be so far away from the first circle, a lot of the time anyway, you will need to be prepared for the blue wall closing in. More than any other strategy, especially as it's going to take in many occasions the first 4 or 5 minutes to actually get where you need to be. So let's start with the drop. Depending on your flight path, look out for a higher risk area that are really far away. Remember, the highest risk areas like Georgia Pole for example, always have a chance someone else will be there. So keep that in mind before you choose. For me in this game, I chose to make my way to Mill to Power. It's not in the direct line of the drop plane, it's far away, no other players are likely to go there, and the second thing is, I know I can get there as there are plenty of boats. And for that exact reason, this strategy is a tough one and it may not work out every time, as a vehicle can be a fairly key factor in how well it does work out. So with a vehicle you can get to a further away location and it will be safer the further away you are. I usually go for areas on the coast because if you can't find a car while you're dropping, there are always boats along the coastline. So I chose to make my way to Mill to Power. I opened my parachute really early to get distance, and I found a boat which I knew there are loads of in this stretch of water. Now traveling there is most of the time I have for looting. Fortunately in this game, the first circle started really close by to where I was going. So my mid-game, where I'd often find I would be back in the vehicle to try and outrun the blue wall, in this case I would be able to go on foot, and that's what I do in this video. And it really just depends game to game. So at Mill to Power, there are loads of high loot areas, warehouses, the main building itself, and I have all this loot for myself. You can loot for as long as you can, and then you have to start thinking about the blue wall. Don't worry too much about it, it doesn't drain too much health to begin with, and it really depends on how much healing you have and how far away the next area is. I often, if I have a couple of medkits, just let the blue wall overtake me and continue to loot if I don't have all the gear I'm looking for. But you also need to know how far away you need to go and if you have enough healing left for that to work out. Now in the video I finished looting the power station and the blue wall was just right behind me, and I made my way to the first white circle, making my way to another high loot area on the map, which is this warehouse here, and it has tons of stuff inside. This is what you should continue to do, traveling from circle to circle, looting any high loot areas along the way. And the thing is, I spent all my time traveling here, so there was no one else here in this giant area with all the loot. And therefore I have all the loot I need fairly quickly, so you shouldn't need to spend too long looting. By the time I get to the second circle, I've had to loot really quickly, but the big quantity available to me has landed pretty good gear. I have level 3 armor, level 2 backpack and helmet, grenades, molotovs, 5 first aid kits, not to mention the AKM, and best of all, an M16 with a 4-scope and a suppressor. So that's a pretty nice bunch of stuff and is going to give me a good chance for the next stage of the game. Now this tactic, because you're so far away, doesn't really have a middle game. It's spending a long time getting to a high loot area, start looting, and then it's mostly running. I chose not to use a vehicle to travel to the final circles. I never really do because it gives away your position. I prefer to sneak. So in this case, in order to do that and outrun the blue wall, I had no choice but to travel across the water. But by the time I'm finished outrunning the blue wall and make it across the water, it's already down to a low number of players and I'm ready to actually get into the game. In this occasion, I managed to get 4 kills and come second, really disappointed to get second, but it does highlight the effectiveness of this tactic. It's high risk, yes, you can easily get caught out by the wall, but by the time you're actually part of the game, it's already getting close to the top 10, and you should have really good stuff to help you get close to, if not get that chicken dinner. So guys, that is it for this long distance play. Very different from the aggressive approach, but just like the aggressive, it sets you up nicely for the top 10, but does involve a lot of running or traveling. So just to recap, choose a location of high risk not on the flight path of the drop plane. Open your chute early to give you distance, but be on the lookout for a vehicle as it will determine how far away you can go. The further away you are, the safer you will be. I often choose an area along the coast if I can, as boats are easier to find consistently. and if I don't come across a vehicle, there will always be a boat. But you don't have to do it that way if you don't want to. Travel to the high loot area, loot for as long as possible, keep an eye on the blue wall and how far away you will have to go to get there. If it's really far away, you will have to get back in your vehicle. If it's within running distance, then just do what I do, loot for as long as you can and make your way there without getting caught out. And then just continue to do that for as long as possible. But it shouldn't take you too long a time when looting in these high risk areas to find everything that you need. And essentially you can keep doing this until you reach the end game. Well, that is about it for this video. It may seem just like the last video, obvious for some, but plenty of people still don't know what the different strategies are and the different ways you can play the game. If you already know everything in the video, that's great, then please contribute any tips you have for newer or struggling players. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to leave a like below, guys. The support is greatly appreciated on the channel, so that would be really awesome. Subscribe if you're new around for similar videos to this one, and I will catch you guys next time with a brand new video. Peace.